I'm William.
And I'm David.
And this is The New Frontier. So this podcast was mainly started so that some nerdy best friends could digitally document their frequent nerdy conversations. And so that nerdy fact, you can fight me on that. So my nerdy friend is David, and he's nerdy. How many times can I say nerdy in this podcast without annoying people?
I don't know. Can we have a ding every time we say
ding?
nerdy?
Yeah. I'll try. Let's see if I can remember to do that in post. Because knowing me, I won't. But ding, nerdy. So, yeah, we love talking about nerdy stuff. We did it for years, and then I think just one day we were like, why aren't we like trying to make pennies off of this? I would have said money, but it's pretty much pennies. Like, why aren't we making anything off of this? We should be recording our conversations. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're doing. So we created this podcast just to do that. Talk about all the things we love and in a...
Also sometimes hate.
Well, this is true. That's not hard. You will notice the things we love and hate very soon. But yeah, that's all this podcast is about. And yeah, let's start off with something that we're probably going to love-hate. A great trailer came out this week. Do you get a guess of what it was?
Could it be Sargnarg the Harge?
It is indeed. For those who don't speak Davidese, that is Sonic the Hedgehog 2019 official trailer.
Yeah.
There's
a lot to talk about in that trailer.
There is a lot to talk about it.
First and foremost, what do you think of Sonic's design?
Creepy.
It's a little uncanny.
It's uncanny. The moment he started stretching on the highway, before they even showed the front of him, I was like, I'm uncomfortable. And then they showed him, and I was like, even more uncomfortable. Don't like anything about it.
He's very hairy.
He is.
And creepy. Because he's almost got like sort of a Sasquatch type hair build, which doesn't look right on Sonic.
He looks like a mutant human more than he looks like a hedgehog.
Yes. Very much so.
And we are not in the minority on that.
No.
3/4 of the dislikes and likes are dislikes. It has been viewed many times, mainly for people to make fun of it, I'm sure. And it's scary. It's scary. I never grew up playing Sonic. I played it recently. I know the hate behind Sonic 06 and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's inconceivable that a Sonic movie could be good. I don't because I think that movie would work way better than a Mario movie, don't you think?
Actually, yeah. And so somebody animated this entire thing using Sonic the Hedgehog models, just like stole them from a video game and animated using the models. And like the voice acting of it, it seems like it would have really worked as an animated movie. Yeah. But just seeing these things in live action, I'm calling Jim Carrey a thing as well because something about it looked weird in both his normal and Robotnik forms. Seeing that just looked weird, but his voice paired with a classic Robotnik model actually looked pretty good. Yeah,
I don't think... when they announced that Jim Carrey was going to be in this as the villain, I was like, that is both equally the most insane idea, but also completely perfect.
Right.
And
to pair off Jean-Ralphio being Sonic.
Exactly. It's not the worst thing you could do. Then, of course, you read, before this trailer came out, the tagline that he's on the run from the U.S. government. And I'm like, oh, it's going to suck.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like, we're going to bring Sonic into our world.
Exactly.
Like they've done with the Smurfs and they've done with like, oh gosh, who was that? Peter Rabbit or whatever,
yeah,
but like,
you're right.
What's up with bringing these CG characters into quote unquote the real world and having movies based on that premise?
Correct. Are these Hollywood producers thinking like, well, people are stupid, so we need to bring them into our reality for it to be understandable? I think people would way more enjoy like a Wreck-It Ralph style movie with Sonic. I think that would be way cooler.
Yeah, or Ratchet and Clank, because they had a CG movie and it was decent to okay.
Exactly. So it could work. Obviously, I'm pretty sure this won't work. Because the one thing that, after the backlash, they said they're going to fix is how Sonic looks. Unless they reshoot the entire thing, they can't fix the other problems with it.
Yeah.
So at least we'll be getting a hopefully better Sonic design, but other than that...
It's still going to be Sonic in the real world.
Yes.
Which is the problem.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
Doesn't
make sense at all.
No.
But, at least honestly, I think it might make more sense than the next movie.
Oh, and that is
Fast and the Furious presents, because it's like its own thing now. It's like Orson Welles presents or something,
Alfred Hitchcock presents.
Exactly. Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw. I keep wanting to call it Calvin and Hobbes, but that is not correct.
No, I don't know which one I'd prefer. Like, I think it might be a train wreck to have a Calvin and Hobbes movie, as much as I would love it.
Calvin and Hobbes in the real world.
No. Well, Hobbs and Shaw in the real world. I don't think they're in the real world, though, because apparently there's a black Superman terrorist. The trailer's words, not mine.
Trailer's words, quote.
And this terrorist is so bad that bullets don't affect him. He's super strong. So obviously the U.S. government decides that they need people who can drive cars to catch him.
Yes. But I've seen a very small amount of cars in the trailer.
Correct.
I'm going to preface this by saying I've never seen a Fast and the Furious movie, and I'm very much looking forward to this movie.
Yes.
To me, I've described it to you a few times like this, of like, whenever you see a cartoon or a TV show that has like a fake trailer for a fake generic action movie, it looks like this movie, and that's what I want to see.
No, I agree completely. The only Fast and Furious movie I've seen is Fate of the Furious, which is, Fate. It's Fast 8. And that was so bad it was good, and it wasn't boring ever. I enjoyed it. I loved Dwayne's character, and I loved Jason Statham's character in that movie. So I'm kind of happy they have their own movie because they were just so stupid in the other one. But it definitely does take place entirely in cars, Fast and Furious 8, because it's like, so we have these actors who are okay, I guess, but let's have them act in cars so you're distracted from their okay acting, really. And that's what the whole thing is. I mean, you have a supervillain terrorist, right? And they're like, how do we catch him? Driving cars.
Like, they've got like these fun little action set pieces of like Dwayne The Rock Johnson saying he's like a big can of whoop ass or whatever, and then Statham saying he's a champagne problem. And then when they're going through their like respective corridors with like the bunch of people and then the one big bad, and then the elevator. So it's like, I like this weird cliched, here's every single action trope that we can think of with two very typical action heroes. And Idris Elba's in here as Black Superman.
Yeah, what more could you ask for?
What more can we ask for, really?
I really think it takes... I don't know if this is possible, but it's like, all right, we're going to take ourselves 100% seriously, but also know that we're joking.
Yes.
That's what the feel is of it.
It's just going for it. It's going for everything. And I want this movie to succeed because I would like to encourage this sort of behavior.
Yes. We don't need pure action movies all the time. We can take these weirdo moments, and enjoy them. As long as you don't have a bunch of them. So then it'd be get annoying.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that could totally turn cheesy.
Yeah.
Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Ooh.
We just watched the trailer, the final trailer. Yes, Jinx. And I liked it, as usual. I liked all their trailers. What was your vibe while watching this?
In this trailer particularly, I feel like we got a little bit more of traditional Godzilla camp with some cheesy lines, where they're like, "Oh my God, Zilla." And
that's good writing.
It's good writing. Yeah, it feels a lot more campy than 2014 did, because 2014 was a lot more sort of the grim, super serious sort of vibe. And while I mostly liked Godzilla 2014, especially when Godzilla was present, I think this one actually took a lot of the criticisms from 2014 and is learning from it, because it seems like we're not just centered around our military protagonists going around and doing military things, but the monsters are going to be a lot more present and more of a major staying character in the film. That's
definitely what I got from it. Is this the same company that made the King Kong movie?
I don't know if it's the exact same studio, but it is. I mean, they're in the same connected universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they took the same problem. They took the complaints from the King Kong movie, because that was supposed to be a very comedy-heavy movie.
Yeah.
I'm guessing from at least what I saw from the trailers.
Yeah, the trailers put it that way.
And so I'm guessing they took okay, this was too serious, this was too funny, let's combine it to the perfect medium.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this movie is going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. It'll honestly, and hopefully you don't judge me for this, it will be the first Godzilla movie I've ever seen.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, unless I watch the Gareth Edwards one first.
I think maybe.
Do you think I should?
Yeah, I doubt like a whole lot of specific elements will carry
For sure.
forward, but there's just something about seeing large things in movies that I really enjoy, and that's something Gareth Edwards did really well. Of like when Godzilla was there, he felt massive,
Yeah.
and that's what I want to see in this one too, because big things are fun. Like when
Big-
Rodan is flying over the village, and just like the force of the wind following him decimates it. That's like, it's just something you don't see in a whole lot of movies. So I'm excited to see like the scale and perspective of it.
So, massive destruction. You know, I think that segues into massive disappointment.
Ooh.
Although I like how this next trailer isn't really even that bad, but I think it's funny that I made it sound horrible. Gemini Man, 2019 official trailer.
Yeah.
So, funny enough, they're still shooting this movie.
Oh, my.
And Will Smith released it on his channel. Like I showed you the one that was not his on his channel, but he's at the beginning like, we're still shooting this. I just wanted to release this early preview trailer for you guys. I was like,
He
what?
did that with Aladdin
I
as
know.
well.
Yeah, I'm like,
Will Smith,
what?
come on, dude.
So, how do you feel? How do you feel about this Gemini Man?
You know, I was so focused on just like looking at young Will Smith
Yeah.
that I don't really know what the movie's about.
Exactly.
I know that one of them is trying to kill the other, but I don't know who they are and what they're doing and why young
Yeah.
Will Smith is trying to kill old Will Smith. I don't know.
Is it like Looper meets
I was just thinking about
Bourne?
Looper,
You
yeah.
know, like that's what I think it is. It's like trained operative, but also future version. Like it's weird.
It's something.
The plot looks super generic,
Yeah.
but they just added like the cloning part, and that makes it at least a little more interesting.
Yeah.
Not enough for me to really want to see it.
Right, yeah, and that's kind of odd from Ang Lee because one of his last movies was Life of Pi, and then one of his other movies was the Hulk movie, the original one, which wasn't very good, but at least like had some weird lofty ideas to
Yeah.
it. So maybe he'll have some ideas with this movie too, and they don't want to like tip their hand on him. And yeah, who knows? I mean, this was the first trailer. They try to keep it a little bit vague.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to.
They're
see
still
it, though.
shooting.
still
So, I
shooting.
mean, who knows? They're like, we don't have a plot yet. Will, what are you doing? He's like, I gotta release a trailer for the guys.
I look so cool. It's like I'm in the Fresh Prince again.
Yeah, right. Oh well, you never. You could try.
try.
You know, we're not gonna necessarily talk about the trailer of this movie right now. But it introduces what will hopefully become a mainstay of this podcast.
Ooh.
That is the Star Wars Rant Minute.
Yay.
And so, I love Star Wars. Don't you? I mean, I'm not even being sarcastic.
I do. I have very strong emotions for Star Wars.
Exactly.
Very
Yes.
strong. Mostly love.
Grew up watching them, love them.
Read the books, played the games.
Exactly. Love hated the prequels, like I think every Star Wars fan. Not as much as others, but
Yeah.
in the hate department. But yeah, it's Star Wars. I mean, so the current trailer
Yes.
for Episode 9.
Rise of Skywalker.
Thoughts?
Not too hyped. It's just kind of when the tagline is the end of like a saga or whatever, or like the end of a story. I never really felt like this sequel trilogy began. Like it just didn't feel new. And so to say like, oh, the end of this epic tale, it's like, are we going to
Correct.
start an epic tale and then try to end it here?
Yeah.
And also bring back Palpatine and Lando and
People
what are we
keep
doing
saying
here?
it's the end of the Skywalker saga. I'm like, okay, great. The last two movies, I mean, the first one especially, Force Awakens, did not feel like a Skywalker thing.
No.
The Last of the Jedi did more, but still
it felt,
not much.
It was a little bit more about Kylo's story as a Skywalker, which
Yeah.
was good.
But even then,
Even
you know,
then.
so once again, if this is the third movie and it's the quote unquote end of the Skywalker saga, I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
sure.
Like the most recent movies haven't really been about the Skywalker saga.
No,
Not-
unless
not
the
in the
twist is that
forefront.
Rey is related to Skywalker, which would be so
Boo.
stupid. At this point, it's just gonna feel bad. I think in general, I mean, I'm gonna enjoy parts of it because it's Star Wars.
We'll be there
but-
opening night, just like we always are.
Exactly. That's not going anywhere. So, yeah, that was, I think, here's the thing. The reason we limit ourselves to a minute about Star Wars is we could talk for an hour
go for
about Star
so-
Wars.
yep.
We've done that. We've turned reviews about Shazam into an entire topic about Star Wars. And we're like, how did that happen? Because we talk about the things that worked in a movie and then remember they didn't work in Star
Star
Wars.
Wars, yep.
Which is tragic.
So we're trying to we're allowing ourselves a brief time to talk about Star Wars before we shelve it for the time being and then move on to something different.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we might still have big things to talk about. Obviously, when 9 comes out, we'll do a review on it and stuff like that. But yeah, for now, limiting it to a minute. And I think it's been longer than a minute because we're complaining.
Whatever.
So something that we can complain about, or maybe not complain, but be slightly happy they didn't go in this direction. Tony from
Endgame.
I was gonna say from the cereal, Frosted Flakes.
Oh yeah. Did the furry revolt stop finally, or is that still?
Was they upset about that?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh sure.
Wow, that's tragic. That's horrible. Next they're gonna say, all right, if you got the sun on Raisin Bran boxes, all right, we need a moon making a cereal now too, all right? Jeez, get a grip, people. We're talking about Tony Stark from Endgame.
Yeah.
Spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, and if you haven't, what are you doing with your life?
It's been a few days.
It's been a few days. So apparently there was a scene recorded and cut of Tony's adult daughter, because in the movie she's 4, maybe 5.
Yeah.
I think 5, and that's his main reason for doing stuff in this movie. He wants to protect her, and so apparently when he snaps his fingers at the end of the movie, there was a scene that was supposed to play of her as a grown-up. And
sort of contrasting when Thanos snapped and he has Gamora as a young child.
Correct. It would have been that contrast, and she's like, "You did it. You saved me." And I think it's just, in theory, and maybe a different version of the movie, it could have worked.
Yeah.
But I think the way it panned out, we're not getting that scene. I'm happy.
It seems just sort of unnecessary.
Yes.
And just, if they did a scene like that, I think just use the same 5-year-old actress.
Yeah.
Don't age her up, because then we're gonna have to be who is that, and then we're gonna have to think for a second, which we shouldn't have to do in our movies. No thinking.
Yeah.
But if you just show the same actress, I think that would have been fine, but unnecessary ultimately.
Correct. It would have been even a little weird because Ant-Man saw his older daughter at the beginning of the movie, remember?
Yeah.
And so I think that'd be weird, just two aged up actresses.
Yeah, if we had to do 2 age jumps.
Yeah.
And then people would have asked, why didn't the Hulk see Scarlet Witch? No, not Scarlet Witch, Black Widow.
Yeah,
Jeez.
right. Yeah. People have said that. So I'm happy they didn't do it for the long run. Like I said, in a weird version of this movie that was a little different.
Now that I'm thinking about it, because he did say, I tried to bring her back. So if he had a scene with her, he's like, I'm trying to bring you back, and she's like, I can't come back.
Yeah.
That would have given some finality to it, but him saying it is good enough.
Yeah.
But that's just an opportunity they could have worked in.
That's true.
But ultimately, who cares?
Speaking of who cares,
oh no,
Indiana Jones 5.
Whoa,
we've got reports.
Really, who cares?
Making Star Wars, which is apparently a website, Making Star Wars reports that Jonathan Kasdan is no longer writing Indiana Jones 5 and has since been replaced by This Is Us creator Dan Fogelman, whose current plans for the films will differ from Kasdan's script. Reportedly, Kasdan's script was all about Indiana Jones potentially tracking down a train that disappeared with a lot of Nazi gold on it.
Yeah.
Which sounds like more of a subplot to an Indiana Jones video game.
Yeah, it sounds like maybe the intro to an Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing mystical about a train of gold, to my understanding.
Correct.
And each of what I've liked about Indiana Jones is each of them have a mystical element to them.
Yes.
Even Crystal Skull did. It just had a weird element, but at least it had something. It's not like, he's not going to get to the train of gold and then it fly up into space.
Exactly. Or Hitler walks out and he's like, I've been using this holy water to keep me alive. No. So I'm happy that they've moved past that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Jonathan Kasdan was the one who also wrote Crystal Skull.
Ooh.
If I remember correctly.
Ooh, I don't know.
So
he worked on Solo, if that tells us anything.
So either way, I'm kind of happy he's gone. And also either way, why do we have an Indiana Jones 5 movie coming out? I don't think we ever needed a 4. I think 3 was perfect. 3 needed 3.
Yeah, 3 had a good ending, and for all the faults of 4, it at least tried to end the character, being like, now he's done, and he's satisfied, and he's settling down. And they even tried to do a passing the mantle. As bad as it was, it tried to give a definitive end.
Correct.
Even though it wasn't needed. So just coming back is Why?
Yeah. Like, even back in the day when we were talking about reboots, remember? Because I think Disney gave Spielberg the ultimatum. Either we're going to reboot this, or you're going to write a script for our next movie.
Ew.
And you get the choice. And so Spielberg decided to make a new movie with Harrison. I would have preferred the reboot. I mean, I want neither, but I would have preferred a reboot than bringing Harrison Ford back to play Grumpy Old Man. So, oh well. That's... Jeez. But at least we're getting the best character from Ant-Man into the Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. I'm so excited. This guy's great. You want to try pronouncing his name? Because I can't.
Yes. David Dastmalchian? Dastmalchian?
Good job. Good job. I would have butchered it way worse. I
can say David.
There you go. He played the character from Ant-Man that said the Baba Yaga. He's telling the story, creepy stories.
He's part of the crew
that robs Ant-Man's house originally.
Yeah, well, not Ant-Man's
original
house.
Ant-Man.
Oh, original Ant-Man. Yeah, Hank's house.
Hank's house. So Hank Pym. So yeah, he he's playing the character in the Suicide Squad. He's playing an amazing character, Mr. Polka Dot, the Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man.
So that perfectly fits with the James Gunn project. That sounds perfect for it.
It does, yeah. If this was another director, it'd be like that. Why?
Yeah.
But since it's Gunn, I'm more comfortable with him doing bizarre, bonkers things with DC than I would be with probably anyone else.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Except maybe Lord and Miller.
Yeah, I kind of hope they do a DC movie. I mean, they probably won't. But I would love it. Yeah. I like how DC just snatches up the people that Disney doesn't want, and they're great, but Disney doesn't want them. Like Lord and Miller with Solo. Even if it would have been the least Star Wars movie of all time, I would have loved to see their version of it much more than the whatever we got. So
just sort of by the numbers, yeah.
Exactly. Once again. Did you not notice how we went to Star Wars?
That's why this is. Now you know.
Now you know.
Now you know.
We can turn anything. Ant-Man, we can talk about Star Wars. But thankfully, this next topic has the word star in it. Star Trek.
Star Trek.
So, Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek, he wrote the script.
It's still happening.
He finished the script, and he said the only reason he's not working on it right now in terms of trying to getting it made is because he's promoting his film Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
He said once that's done, he'll get back to working on this movie. I am neither... I'm just not opposed to it. I don't care. They've pretty much killed Star Trek as a film franchise right now because they said 4 was completely canceled.
Yeah. Oh, it's so sad. I wanted Hemsworth back.
Yeah.
It would have been nice.
It would have been awesome. But of course it's canceled. And so really now the show... I think multiple shows, actually. We have Discovery.
Yeah, Discovery, the Patrick Stewart show.
So
that's just called the Patrick Stewart
And then,
show.
we have a spin-off show of, about the weird alternate universe of Star Trek where they're evil.
Oh, the Mirror Universe?
Yeah, the Mirror Universe.
Wow,
Yep.
okay.
So we're getting that. And so now Quentin Tarantino making an R-rated movie doesn't sound as insane. I'm okay with it.
I mean, it's the thing we just said of, don't make something by the numbers with old franchises. Just do something bonkers.
Exactly.
See if it sticks. So I'm interested, but something about just advertising it as an R-rated thing is I'm
hoping
is
they don't
that
go that
is there a reason for it, or are you just doing it so you can?
Yeah.
And hopefully, good old Tintin Quarantino will have something up his sleeve for it.
I'm hoping we can get a Khan reference where someone just shouts Khan and then pulls out machine gun phaser guns, I would love it. And hate it also. I'd love hate it. With a lot of the topics today.
Yeah.
That's a common trend with us in general, I think.
Strong feelings on many things that probably don't matter.
Exactly. They matter to us. And hopefully they matter to you, and that's why you're listening. I don't know what you just said, but I heard spill the beans.
It's real to me.
Yes, there you go. Jeez. Something that we can argue about.
Yep.
Spider-Man, Far From Home. You excited?
I am, and just as a preface, I will probably unintentionally call this Spider-Man Homecoming again, just because I can't call it anything else for some reason.
Yeah.
But Far From Home, so this was kind of odd, because the trailer was like, hey, there's the spoilers for the last one, please don't watch this. I've never seen that before, and that's kind of weird.
Yeah. I'm guessing they're we're making money. People are going to keep seeing Endgame, you know? So if we're going to release this trailer because we need to get marketing out there, we also can make more money by people starting to see this trailer, and they're like, hey, if you haven't seen Endgame, people are like, wow, movies are coming out that if I haven't seen Endgame, I can't watch, you know? So it's going to make them go see Endgame. So I think it's a marketing thing, too.
That's true. I can see that.
So this is the second trailer. Excuse me, the first full trailer.
Right.
So...
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It feels weird. It feels weird it's so close, but they've had so many Marvel movies out this year, they're just like, all right, we can't put so many trailers.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm excited because Jake Gyllenhaal is a really good actor, and I'm excited for his version of Mysterio.
Yeah.
The trailer makes some weird statements.
It does.
What are some of those, David?
That there's a multiverse. That the snap did... It apparently had ripples. We don't know if the snap altered anything, like if the snap permeated throughout each multiverse or each universe in the multiverse, or if it just did some wonky space-time things and all of a sudden Jake Gyllenhaal and the Elementals are here. We don't know. But I'm not sure like what I think about at least that premise, because I'm kind of just wanting to assume that Quentin Beck or Mysterio is lying about all of it.
Yeah.
He's just being a schmuck villain.
Yeah. So it's either going to be, this is the end of this phase, here's something huge to wait for the next phase, you know?
Yeah.
Or it literally is just, he's like, oh, this huge thing happened. This gives me an in to become like a superhero and be popular, you know? Because that's always what he wanted, like, right? To be, he was like the Booster Gold kind of type, but bad.
Yeah, Booster Gold, but a villain. And his whole thing is like theatrics and a whole bunch of like holograms and things that look real to put on these big, massive, dumb shows. So like me watching this trailer, I'm like, I don't buy you as a hero just because I know about your character's origins. And, you know, maybe to Marvel's credit, they want to do something different with the character, but I don't know. I'm kind of like, I'm just waiting.
Correct.
Waiting for that reveal.
It's like, if he is from an alternate universe, he's good in that universe, and that's why it would confuse us, you know?
Yeah.
But it's just, it's like almost, I mean, I know he's not as big as a villain as the Joker, but it's like, if there was a movie and Batman's about to beat up, he's like, no, I'm good, okay? You know? It's just weird, especially since the Marvel Universe has never set up a multiverse in any good way. And actually, not at all. Sorry. They haven't.
The mainstream MCU, I think maybe a little bit in Doctor Strange, maybe because he's protecting, like, the existence or whatever. So from there, I can extrapolate maybe to a multiverse, but, like,
I think
mainstream MCU now.
If they ever did a multiverse, and it seems like they are, but if they ever did, I was hoping it would be like spread out over a couple movies, it piecing together and like, whoa. I think shoving that all into a Spider-Man movie right after the huge Endgame event would be kind of a poor choice.
Yeah, I think it would be wise maybe just to have like a breather and have a few movies that are just like smaller in scale and just a little bit more character focused and not just immediately like, okay, Endgame's over, now we're going to set up for Kang the Conqueror and just start all this multiverse nonsense right now. It's like, let's take a breath and appreciate what we just had because it was pretty darn cool.
Yeah. I mean, even in this trailer, it kind of like hinted at the taking a breath thing, like with Happy, you know, with Peter Parker crying over Tony Stark being dead. I was like, oh, wow, I like that approach, that this is a movie with a world that lost heroes, and it's them moving on. I was like, oh, now there's a multiverse. Okay, that's unnecessary.
Yep. Now we slowed down a little bit, and then we just punched it. Yes. We did a Hobbs and Shaw on it.
Some I didn't mention, but I love the song "Why Can't We Be Friends" playing in the background. That's just
Hobbs
great.
Trailer,
not of the Peter Parker movie, not of Spider-Man. That would be weird.
Yeah. Do you think... So they announced it a while back that Tony Stark wasn't going to be the mentor figure in this movie, but he would instead be replaced with Nick Fury. Do you think Spider-Man needs another sort of mentor figure?
No.
I mean, neither.
I think Spider-Man as a character has always worked in the comics and movies as him growing on his own, realizing things with information passed down to him from people who are no longer with him.
Yeah.
And so I think having his aunt, you know, and even Happy as his mentors roughly is all he needs. I don't think we need to like, oh, Nick Fury's here. All right, now he is the new mentor. And I'm like, I don't think he needs that, because that makes him not his own character,
Yeah,
really.
let Spider-Man be his own. So I was initially very much against like having a mentor at all in the first Spider-Man, but like the hero worship aspect of it really grew on me, and because it made sense, him growing up at the universe, he would sort of idolize Tony Stark, so I liked that. But it would be cool to see Spider-Man come into his own now without the prompting of anybody else. Like
Correct.
it's his opportunity to be the Spider-Man.
Because even though he was really connected with Iron Man and Tony Stark, I think the way Homecoming ended with him like succeeding without Tony's help, because Tony was like, hey, I'm taking your suit away from you.
Yeah, and even turning down the Iron Spider
Exactly.
suit. Yeah.
He had grown up enough that I was like, hey, Tony's still there. I mean, before Endgame, it's still okay.
Tony was still there.
Tony was still there. Hey. And now even at this point, I'm like, he's grown enough. Even losing Tony's a huge event to help him become a better hero. Nick Fury, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Just, it
once
doesn't
again,
really seem necessary.
I'm still excited for the movie.
Yeah.
The Homecoming really surprised me with a lot of things.
Yeah.
But mainly having a good villain.
Very good villain.
Very good villain. And I expect the Elementals. I expect Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio.
Yeah.
Whether he's the villain or not. I expect him as a villain to be really good.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited for that.
Right, that's mainly why I think the Elementals aren't either real or our main villain, because they don't do anything besides cause havoc.
Correct.
And that was cool about the Vulture, was he was just sort of a small-time, personal kind of guy.
Yeah. Well, has there been a Marvel movie, and I should know this answer, but, whatever. Has there been a Marvel movie where we've had a villain like that that's just vague, like the Elementals, where there's, like, no personality connection to it, so you're just like, this kind of sucks, Because I don't...
Sort of the Dark Elves.
Yeah, sort of. But still Malekith, right?
Yeah, but
At
still they had a
least
face. Yeah.
So I don't think they would do that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be nice. And right now I may eat these words like, when the movie comes out. But I feel like only an idiot would believe Mysterio is actually good.
Yeah.
Like as a viewer, unless you know nothing about comics or you're a comic person, you're like, whoa, they're really changing. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure he's still bad.
Right, and we've said this before, but I say it a lot, but I'd like to be proven wrong.
Yeah.
So I like it when movies can... if I say I don't want something and they're like, we're going to do it anyway, and then I end up liking it. Because I didn't want, I'm going to say Star Wars again, but I didn't want Rogue One, and it turns out to be one of my favorites.
Oh, for sure.
There was something else in Marvel I was like, I don't think that's going to be a good idea. Basically all of Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes.
But then I was like, oh, I was genuinely proven wrong.
Were you excited?
And on Venom, too.
Yeah, for the different reasons.
For different reasons. But yeah, I like being proven wrong in my assumptions and feelings about movies.
I think it's funny, a lot of these relate to Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Were you excited at all before Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse came out, or were you kind of hesitant about that too?
No, I went back and listened to one of our other podcasts where we were like, it's animated Spider-Man, what's the point?
Because
it's going to be weird.
Yeah, it's just Sony cashing.
Yeah, it's just a big cash in. Yeah. So we eat our words a lot on the show. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah. I'm totally fine with that.
I'm fine with it.
Especially when it's for better. I wish the one thing we hadn't eaten our words about was Universal. Oof. I really wish those Universal monsters.
Should have. Well, yeah, they ate their own words on it.
They really did. They really did. So, yeah, it's crazy. This is the first episode, so I'm trying to flow well. I think we've done pretty good.
We've done, yeah.
Admirable.
An attempt was made.
Admiral Akbar. Star Wars.
Star Wars. No. We're going to get better.
So, if you haven't noticed the flow to this whole thing, we're trying to have different formats, different parts to, all connect to everything. And then each week, before we end the podcast, we're going to come out with a big question.
Yep.
Big question for the other person.
Yeah.
So, if it's David's week to ask the question, I won't know what the question is. He'll know. And we'll have 2 minutes to talk about it or for me to answer the question. It's all hypothetical, of course.
All hypothetical.
And so, each week, we'll switch off who is the person asking the question, all that stuff every episode. So, I've decided, because I'm annoying, for today to be my turn to ask the big question. I'm really excited.
I am very excited.
So, alrighty. The question is...
He's a DC hero.
Yes, he is a DC hero. Do you think that the Lego movies should stop being made? Or do they deserve any sequels anymore? Or at the state they're in, just let it be over. It's okay. We shouldn't risk anything.
in terms of sort of mainline continuity, I don't think we need a Lego Movie 3. The Lego Movie 2, you can find it on our old podcast, but we ultimately thought it just wasn't necessary, and it didn't do enough to sort of justify its own existence. That being said, Lego Batman is probably one of my favorite Batman movies ever made. And there's a lot of opportunity for sheer creativity, but then I've never seen Lego Ninjago. William has. It apparently took him 3 sittings to sit
3
through.
days.
3 days.
Yeah.
So there's highs and lows. I'm okay with like spin-offs, where we have another Lego Batman movie, maybe a different Lego Hero movie, or maybe Lego Bionicle, or
exactly.
Lego Knights.
They've been around for so long. I mean, come on, guys.
Yeah,
Jeez.
if we start exploring just more aspects about Lego and don't shoehorn in Maya Rudolph and these sort of really awkward live action scenes that don't really do a whole lot and repeat the same stepping on a Lego joke for way too long, then I think that's just the right direction to take the universe.
How would you feel? And this is a cheat question because I already asked my question. How would you feel, and this is never going to happen, but hypothetical, about a Lego Indiana Jones movie?
Whoa.
Right? That's the Indiana Jones movie.
That's the Indiana Jones movie we need.
Yes, I agree. It's never going to happen. I mean, as of right now, there's only one Lego movie really in the works.
Is it the Billion Brick Race?
It is the Billion Brick Race, which, hey, it's weirdly unique.
It's something new.
It's something new.
Different.
It could work. So, hey.
Prove us wrong.
Prove us wrong, Lego Industry and Warner Brothers. So, I am very scared for the next question that you will be bringing to me.
Yeah.
I'm worried. I already have a few in my head, thoughts from my next one, but, you know. So, as always, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're listening through Anchor, send us a voice message, comment, or question. You can also find this podcast on the official New Frontier YouTube page, links in the description of this podcast and every podcast, along with, on that channel, unrelated content and related content, because, you know, we don't like to put ourselves in a box.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Who does? Who does? You're just going to break out of the box, and people are going to be disappointed that you put yourself in a box.
So if we just start out with no box, there is no box, like there is no spoon.
Think about that. If there's no box, was there ever a box?
Whoa.
There's a reason we don't talk about philosophy on here. So, until next time, guys, this is William.
And this is David.
Signing off.